one of the weird things about working through a holiday weekend is that you keep in the frame of mind of football. Is you even in May when I would say the fewest people are thinking about football, we are spending a long weekend thinking about football. And while I was thinking about football, I'm editing. Here you go. I'll give you a little sneak peek. This is what the magazine's gonna look like. There you go. Just like that. There you go. That's a district page. We're reading these district capsules, proofreading them, making sure everything's spelled right. Spoiler alert, not everything's going to be spelled right.
Uh-oh.
So, going through there, and I'm recognizing, and I'm saying, oh, yeah, this guy, he was there. Last year was his first year. Or, oh, that guy's been there a long time. And, I'm looking at the coach names. I'm thinking about their history at that school. And it got me to thinking about how much attention we pay to coaching changes. TexasFootball.com/coach changes. You can find Matt Stepp's complete list, complete coverage of Texas high school football coaching carousel, all the changes from this past offseason. But, arguably, the more important season in that coach's career at that school, in the coach's tenure, is not the first year. Mm-hmm. Any coach will tell you that the first year is generally, depending on when you come in and depending on circumstances, it's generally a wash, right? It's generally like, okay, you come in, you just want the kids to get to know you. You want to get them into your system. You want to make sure they understand how things are going to work. Mm-hmm. The second year, that's when things get rolling. Yeah. First year, if you come in and you end up taking a dive, that's okay because you can blame it on, hey, it's the first year. It's my first year. They're not used to me. It's a different voice in the room. All that fun stuff. So it got me thinking about second-year head coaches. So what I did is I went back and I looked at the coaching changes from last season. And I identified, and some of them have already made another change. For example, we talked about Tyler Lee last year. Clayton George is out after just 1 year at Tyler Lee. He would have been an interesting case, especially with Chance Amy coming back. But he's off to do whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. So I started looking at second-year Texas high school football coaches. Coaches entering their second year where you would say, all right, this is the year where the kids understand they have a full year, a full off season, because a lot of these guys are coming in like March.
Right.
And they're like, oh, okay, well, you didn't get – you lost 3 months of an off season, sometimes 4. Mm-hmm. Now they have a full off season under their belt. The kids know who they are. The kids understand what they're about. We can make this happen. We can go through and make sure these kids are better in 2017. And so these are 5 programs with a second-year head coach that I've got my eye on heading in 2017. The first, let's start in 6A. Let's start in Central Texas. Jeff Hulme. I think it's Hulme. Hulme. I've heard it 500,000 ways.
Right.
Hewitt Midway. Last year, he makes the move to take over at Midway. And it was a bit of a surprise move when Terry Gamble left to go take over at Allen. Mm-hmm. They end up grabbing Jeff Hulme from Mansfield. Mm-hmm. And for me, this represents a guy that you can say last year was not a bad year for Midway. Nope. Okay, they go 8-3, make the playoffs. Right, not too shabby. That finish was maybe a half step behind where we thought they might finish, right. But I don't think there's any complaints. Well, now you look at Coach Holmes' second year coming in, and he brings back a ton. 7 starters back offensively, 5 on defense, including Jackson Player, their big defensive tackle, who's a stud. They bring back a quarterback in Tanner Mordecai. For me, this is the perfect example of a situation where first year, get all the jitters out, right? Get all the new car smell off the program. Okay, this is my program now. We're going to run my offense. We're going to do things my way. And he's got the weapons that now with a year in his system will understand where to be and when to be there. I think Hewitt Midway is a big breakout candidate in 2016.
Yeah.
Or 2017 rather. Yeah. Especially, what's interesting is that I do think, spoiler alert, I think Region 1 in 6A might take a half step back. And that sounds crazy because you're talking about DeSoto and Cedar Hill and Allen and all these programs. I think there's a decent chance that Region 1 is not the monster that it's been the past couple of years. There's a lot of question marks.
I was going to say, there's a lot more unknowns than we're used to.
Right. If you're looking for a team to break out, Region 1 in 6A is not a bad place to look. And Midway may be that with their second year under Coach Jeff Hulme. In 5A, let's go out west. Let's go to Canyon Randall.
Okay.
Gaylon Selman is entering his second year there with the Raiders, and even he would admit that his first year didn't go as he wanted. 4-6, missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
But this is a program with a lot of tradition. This is a program with a lot of pedigree, and this year, this is a program with a lot of talent back. Okay, they bring back 7 starters offensively, 6 on defense, and for me, the biggest thing in talking to people around the Randall program, what they hear about it is that this is the year that Randall is really, they've bought in. That the offseason, they've bought in, and that these kids are rallying around Coach Selman and saying, this is the year that we're gonna break out.
Yeah.
I think that there's a possibility there, especially when you look at their district. Amarillo's going to be pretty good, but I think they're losing a lot. I think Randall's a real breakout candidate, especially because their defense looks like it's going to be pretty good. Logan Nelson, Zarian Meander. Yeah. This defense looks like it's going to be pretty good. And when I hear reports from out there in Canyon, from out there at Randall High, that these kids have bought in, these kids are excited, these kids are all pulling the rope in the same direction, that gets me, light bulb goes on, and you go, okay, maybe Canyon Randall's a sleeper in 5A.
Yeah, and I think they can point to what they did 2 years ago, right? That deep run through the playoffs under Coach Wood. That hey, we can do this.
This
is something we can do out here.
Right. This isn't something. This wouldn't be some team that's never done it before. All of a sudden, making a deep run. They've done it before. The pedigree's there, and now they've just got to put it all together. In 4A, we've mentioned this before, but Madisonville brings back Rusty Nail for a second year, and again, Coach Nail will tell you that he's not used to losing seasons. 3-8 last year. 3-8. His 3-8 record last year drops his career record to 108-31. So he's not used to losing seasons. But you talk about a team that brings back a ton: 10 on offense, 9 on defense. Great state champion head coach. Right. In what I perceive to be a winnable district, Belleville is going to be solid, but they're solid every single year. The water is wet. This is a team that I think could make a push. A second year under Coach Rusty Nail, they're all buying in, and especially a guy. There's something else to be said about Coach Nail. Coach Nail took a year off from coaching, and I'm not saying he forgot how to coach, but I'm saying that when you take a year off from coaching, maybe you're just shaking off a little cobwebs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
And to get kids to buy in. I think Madisonville is a real breakout candidate.
Bigger school than he's used to coaching. I mean, there's a lot of different factors.
There's a lot of factors.
Into it,
Now, I think it's as much about the kids being used to him as he's used to the situation. That's big. 3A Cameron Yo. Tommy Brashear is taking it in his second year at Cameron Yo. And look, last year was a massive disappointment for Cameron Yo. To lose, I don't think there's any doubt about losing in the regional final in overtime.
Failures.
In overtime to a really good Malakoff team. It's unacceptable in Cameron.
So good.
I know. They're so good. And now this is an example of a team, again, ton of returning starters, 15 returning starters from last year, including Zach Andrews, who really impressed us as the quarterback. Iverson Westbrook's probably the guy that's going to be the new do-everything guy. But I think that he entered a really tough situation last year. And I know 11-3 is real tough, but hear me out. He's taking over for a guy in Rick Rhodes who had guided Yo to 3 straight titles, who had guided Yo to a 4th consecutive title game.
Yeah.
The bar was not here.
Yeah.
It wasn't here.
Yeah.
My arm's not long enough to tell you where the bar was.
Yeah.
That I think that for him, for Coach Brashear, to come in his first head coaching job and say, all right, here we go. Let's just keep things going. Even as an internal hire, I think there had to be a little bit of growing pains on both sides.
Probably.
Look, you could put how do I want to phrase this? Cameron Yeo has the kind of talent that an average coach could win 8 games with them.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
The fact that he took them to a regional final obviously implies that he's got some coaching talent. He's got some coaching chops, right?
Yeah.
The talent is there.
Right.
For me, I'm really interested to see how he has grown as a coach. I would be really interested to talk to him and say, how did you change over the course of a full year in charge of the Yeoman? Very interested in that. And finally, down in 2A, I'm interested in Lovelady. Coach Jon Lowery takes over for a second year. They were a playoff team last year, 9-3. They bring back a fair amount, five starters on each side of the team, including DeMario Mattingly, who's their big bruising, nearly 300-pounder up front. I'm interested to see what Coach Lowery does, moving from Crockett, where he had some success, going from Crockett to Lovelady. And the other thing about it is that we're going to know right out of the chute how good they are. We're going to know real quick because they're in that same district with Centerville, with Groveton. They're in a tough district. We're going to know about Lovelady. I think Jon Lowery is a great coach. I think that he proved that at Crockett. I think that he's got a chance to prove that again with the Lions in 2017. I think Lovelady is a team to keep an eye on in 2A.